Yo, it's me, the SGOTT baby. Welcome to Star Wars Day. Today I will be reviewing Star Wars. And not really reviewing, I'll be doing a retrospective of the different Star Wars sagas. So we have the Prequel Trilogy, the two one-offs, so I'll be doing together the original trilogy, the sequel trilogy, and I will also be putting out a review for Season 1 of The Mandalorian. So just be looking for that. But for right now, we are going to talk about the prequel trilogy. So the first entry in this came out in 1999. There was big buzz because it was the first Star Wars movie since 1983, Return of the Jedi. It was big. People were excited. I didn't go see it for some reason or another. I just didn't. But I remember it being big. I mean, you get the VHS and watching it. Just Star Wars. It's a new Star Wars. And while I kind of get the hate for Phantom Menace now, I do believe that Attack of the Clones is the worst of the three. I really do. I mean, there's a lot of things that bog down Phantom Menace. Like, the pod race takes forever. Like, they could have taken that whole part out, and it probably could have been better. All you need to do is have them start, and then do a quick cut to the end of the... On your mark, get set, go, and it cut. You didn't even need to... Or do something where it didn't take forever to do. That one of the most long sections in a Star Wars film that I've seen. And one of the most unneeded. You can compare it to the scene from Last Jedi where they try to find the code breaker. And how that was early usage. You can compare it to that. I'm trying not to yawn, but it won't stop. But I just remember the one thing, when the trilogy was all said and done, the one thing that kind of got me was that because there were prequels, once I realized there were prequels, because I didn't know what prequel meant back then. Yeah, it said episode 1, but until I watched it, I didn't realize, oh, this is taking place before. Because I was thinking it's going to be more like sequels and stuff. Like, it's going to be, more to Star Wars. We're going to see Luke. But no, once they said Anakin Skywalker, I was like, oh, this takes place before. Okay. So what I was expecting was more Jedi, more lightsaber battles. And we got a few more, but to me, it was disappointing. Especially in episode 1, once I realized it's supposed to be a prequel, and we get one lightsaber battle. Really. I mean, we have I think they use their lightsabers at the beginning of it when they've taken out the droids that are trying to kill them. But other than that, it's just like one lightsaber battle. And I think the problem was you built up someone like Darth Maul as the big bad of your movie, and he goes out like a bitch. I mean, he kills Qui-Gon Jinn, who was not necessary to begin with. We'll get to that. And then Obi-Wan, goes after him and slices him in half. Which, isn't that doing something in anger? I'm just saying, he was angry at what he did to his master. Now, speaking of Qui-Gon, why? We are specifically told in both Empire and Jedi that Yoda trained Obi-Wan. You know, he even says in Jedi, you know, you're stubborn or whatever. So was I when I was young. You remember? So it's very clear that Yoda was supposed to train Obi-Wan. But you add Qui-Gon. Why? The only reason I can think of is because Yoda can't travel. You know, you have Yoda who could either be a puppet, which is what they originally used, or CGI. And they used a puppet originally. So CGI, they didn't add the CGI version until the later versions because George Lucas just got to keep messing with shit. I don't know. But, and we'll get to that in the original trilogy. Don't worry about that. I'll get to that. There's not much alterations you can tell in these because there's so much CGI and screening used anyway. But, and that's one of the better things that the prequels have going for them is the green screening and special effects to the point where, even though the special effects of the original trilogy were good, here you have more technology. You can do more, and that's why he wanted to do them, you know, at a later date where it makes sense that they have technology to do this. But Qui-Gon is one of those characters that never made sense why he existed, as other than they needed a physical person to be with Obi-Wan on the planet when they meet Anakin, because he has to have a master Padawan. He would be a Padawan, although you could have just written that he just became a Jedi Master. That's all you would have needed done, is that he has a bit of dialogue where, you know, you have the, instead of starting on the ship, or you can have like someone they're communicating with turn to Yoda and say, "Are you sure about this, Master Yoda? He only just became a Jedi Knight." And then have Yoda say, "Steadfast and strong. My student is." Get it done. He will. That's all you need to do. He could, you know, the whole thing, and you don't even have to. You could have two Jedi there. Like, if you wanted to have Qui-Gon, you didn't have to have him be Obi-Wan's Jedi Master. Like, he could have just been another Jedi with him. That's the one thing that's always confused me, and it pisses me off a little bit. George Lucas creates this continuity in the original trilogies, and then he goes back in his prequels, and he fucks it up with some of his writing he has in there. Like I said, Qui-Gon simply shouldn't exist for all intents and purposes. Or he could have, you know, and just, you know, and my question I've always asked was Anakin and Padme always supposed to get together? Was that always the plan? Or when filming the first one, did he look at it and say, "Hey, wait a minute, these characters have good chemistry. Maybe this is what we should be going for"? Even though technically she's robbing the cradle a little bit, because in the original he's 9, she's 14, at least according to the Weird Al Yankovic song. And so by the time episode 2 came along, she's 14. She would have to be in her 20s, and he would be still a teenager, right? You know, so what's between 9 and 14, right? So 9, 14, 5 years, right. 5 years. So if 5 years have passed between episode 1 and episode 2, right? Then Anakin could be 14 himself, right? Which he's not. He's probably 19, 20 at this point. So more than 5 years have passed between this. And so she's got to be close to mid-20s, if even, by the time this happens. And he's got to be in his late teens, early 20s. Give or take. If they're supposed to be 5 years apart, then she'd have to be at least 25. He could be 20. Give or take. And that's fine. 5 years apart, I guess, isn't bad. But the fact that I always found it weird that she was, a teenager-ish. And then it's a little boy. And she ends up with this little boy they found on a sand planet. Qui-Gon's death never bothered me. Because, like I said, he was unnecessary to begin with. So when he died, I just remember being like, so what? When Darth Maul got sliced in half like a bitch, I was just like, what are you doing? What? He had like 2 lines. Why did you kill him off? Then you get to Attack of the Clones, right? Attack of the Clones, you got Count Dooku, who was advertised in all the promo material and all the toys and everything, is Darth Tyrannus. They use that name once. Where I think it's Django or Jingle Fett or someone says, I'll report to someone named Tyrannus on a moon or something. It's just like, that's it. That's all they use is Tyrannus just once. And I'm like, ooh, Tyrannus, yes. And then they show him and they call him Count Dooku. I'm like, Dooku? You mean like poo-poo? Darth poo-poo? Is it Darth Dookie? What? Huh? All of the promo material called him Tyrannus. They mentioned the name once and then just call him Count Dooku for the rest of the movies that he's in. It made no sense to me. But I think George Lucas kind of realized after he killed off Darth Maul that, hey, can't do that again. So he didn't kill off Dooku. And Christopher Lee's a great actor, and he was great in the role. And I know that Ray Park doesn't get enough credit for his roles, most of which he doesn't speak. Even Toad didn't have many words to say in the X-Men film that he was in. But she was also killed off like a bitch. She doesn't... See, there's a pattern to this. I'm going to fix this a little bit. But my thing is Dooku. It sounded like Darth Poopy Pants or something. I don't know. Count Poopy Pants. But I understand they have multiple names. Like Palpatine goes by Darth Sidious. Sure. But for all we know, Darth Maul's real name was just Maul. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a spin. Never mind. So, yeah, and other than the parts with Darth Tyrannus and the climax, Attack of the Clones is kind of boring. It's really boring. It's just love talk, and I do not like sand. And then you get, like, the only thing that I think really saves the Anakin story plot is where he goes off. Or, not saves, but anything to note from that whole story of him and Padme, other than going off to rescue Obi-Wan, but is when he takes off and goes to find his mother after having that dream. And he slaughters the Sand People. Now, I think what George Lucas was trying to do was make the anger take him over and him start to succumb to the dark side because of the anger. But having him freak out and kill a bunch of people because his mommy died makes me think he's just a big mommy's boy who's throwing a fit because they killed his mommy and now he's killing everyone. That's just what I thought. And it has nothing to do with the writing. The writing would be alright. Except for one little point I'll get to later. It's who you casted. Hayden Christensen is a big fucking baby. I'm sorry. There are people out there that like his performance. I do not. It always seems like he's whining. I do not like sand. He literally makes this face when he's getting, after she dies and he goes to kill them. It's just, and even in episode 3, which we'll get to, just like, he's a big fucking baby. Okay? And I don't get what, I get if you like him, his performance is a little bit better in Revenge of the Sith, which is probably my favorite of the prequel trilogy, just because it's the darkest of the 3, But when he does this, like I said, it feels just like a big, wine, throwing a fit and killing people because of it. And then they go to save Obi-Wan and they get captured and there's that big old fight. Not much to say there. I do like that. I do like that you get the, I always thought this one point was just because he had to do it. It's the fight between Count Dooku and Obi-Wan and Anakin. Anakin gets his hand chopped off. And the only reason I can see why Lucas did that is because, you have to have a connection with the father and the son. They both get their arm chopped off. But, dude's gonna end up in a robot suit anyway. And as we see in episode 3, just get cinched off again anyway. So I don't see the point of getting his hand chopped off other than say, look, he's got a robot hand too, which is a little bit less. Because at least in the original trilogy, you could tell it was animatronic, but it was flesh colored. And it looked like a regular, and this was 1980 for God freaking sake. And he had, or 1979, whenever it came out. And it looked more realistic than the CGI one he has in the prequel. I don't know, I'll look. It's either 79 or 80, one of the two. But, anyway, yeah, it just always got to me. Now, one thing I can praise about these prequels is the fact that when they screen everything, it looks gorgeous. It does. You can see, the one thing that George Lucas has going for him is he knows how to paint an atmosphere, with Star Wars. Even J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson, who do it, in the new ones. They don't, whoever films the Star Wars movies, they know they have to paint a good atmosphere. They have to paint a good, broad, especially when it's mostly sand. I do not like sand. They know how to paint a picture with that stuff. And that's one of the things I like with the Star Wars saga is that broad scope and just, everything you see. From Naboo to even Tatooine, which is full of sand, to Coruscant, everything. Speaking of Coruscant, the chase at the beginning of Attack of the Clones, where they're chasing down Zam Wesell, I think is the name, and the whole chase ends up being for nothing and doesn't make any sense. Once they get to it, it just kills itself. What was the point of the chase if it's not going to amount to anything? And it's not just this. It's been done in multiple movies before where they're chasing someone. Captain America First Avenger is a good example. Chase down someone, get to them, and then they take a cyanide pill. Or they do something to kill themselves. Just. So the whole chase scene, the whole pretty good chase scene that you just did, means nothing. It doesn't amount to anything. And he doesn't, doesn't mean anything because there was no reason for it after that. Okay. So after the end of Star Wars, now, I always thought that it didn't feel right that Anakin and Padme were just getting married at the end of episode 2. Like, why would you do it then? Why? Their romance just started, and then they're just gonna get married. What? And I'm still confused as how the hell they were hiding it. They live in the same place. How the hell are they hiding that? You know Yoda knows. And if you don't believe that bullshit, Yoda knows all right? Even Obi-Wan knew. I mean, come on. So you get to part 3, and I'm not going to touch too much on the Clone Wars micro series. I'm not going to touch the other piece of shit. I'm sorry. I have never liked the Clone Wars Cartoon Network show or even the movie because it's bullshit. Anakin never had a Padawan. You need to be a Jedi Master to get a Padawan. And they refused to make him a Jedi Master. Therefore, he can't have a Padawan. And it's for the kids. But kids still need stuff to make sense. And I know that, I'm in the process of watching The Mandalorian so I can review it. And I know that's going to be in season 2 when it finally comes out. And all I'm saying is, and I know it's not gonna. I never liked the Ahsoka thing. All right, I never cared for it. It makes no sense. Anakin cannot have a Padawan if he's not a Jedi Master. You need a. I mean, just even. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know. But it just. It doesn't make any sense. Like, where was she during episode 3? Did they ever explain what happened, where she was? Was she that one that they show getting killed in Order 66? No, it was a different one. It was like Takshi or something like that. It just made no sense to me. No sense. Whatsoever. No. And I just remember watching that movie in the theater with a friend of mine. And they showed it. I'm like, no. He can't. No. Because the fact that giving him a Padawan undermines what the Jedi Council was trying to say by telling Palpatine that they're not going to make him a Jedi Master. Anakin wasn't emotionally ready to be a Jedi Master. You can't just say, oh, you're a Jedi Master. No, you have to go through a growth. And if he wasn't ready to be a Jedi Master, he sure as fuck wasn't ready to take on a Padawan. I mean, come on. It made no sense. I'm done bitching about that. We're going to go to the micro series, which connects. Not much to say there. There's something with Ventress, and there's a few other things, but the most important thing to take away is the end of it, where General Grievous, he's also introduced there, kidnaps Palpatine and takes it away, and that's how it ends. And, they use the Force, and it breaks his lung, which I don't know why a droid needs a lung, but who knows. Oh yeah, Anakin creating C-3PO. The biggest question with that was why doesn't it remember him then? But that gets answered in the end anyway. And I'll talk about the R2-D2 thing in the original trilogy. So just look for that. But, so we get to episode 3. And the whole rescue mission. The rescue mission to save Palpatine. I like that whole section where they go and they rescue him, and you get to the fight, the rematch between the 2 Jedi and the Sith Lord, right? And it's great until the end. Anakin should not have been told to kill Tyrannus or Dooku. He should have done it on his own. The fact that he had to have been told to kill him, that Palpatine had to go and say, do it. And then he did it. It takes away from it. What should have happened is that when Dooku did that thing where he pushes, when he knocks down Obi-Wan, and the thing falls on him. That's when Anakin should get pissed and his anger flow. And then go after Dooku, take him down, boom, boom, and then just... and he could have had Obi-Wan, instead of being unconscious, taking a fucking nap, go, no, Anakin, no. And he just goes, and does it without being told to do it. That would have been more. That would have added to, showing, oh, there's anger in him, and he's not controlling it. That would have boded better for him than being told, did it, by Palpatine. We all know Palpatine is evil anyway. Speaking of Palpatine, did he induce the dreams? Now, the one where he sees his mother, I don't see how he could have done that or how he could have known, unless Palpatine himself hired the Sand People to take her, which could make sense but then they said that Tatooine is far beyond. Well, no, that's not till the original trilogy where they said it's far beyond the Empire's reach, I guess. But you think that would still be. But I mean, if they sent, because that's the thing too, is that who knows what Darth Maul was doing when he was scouting them. He could have been following them everywhere, right? I mean, I know they show his ship just getting there, but he could have done more than that off screen. And he could have, who knows, everything that happened with, Anakin's mom could have been all done by the Emperor, orchestrated, And that would have been a better way to go, outright say it, so that the anger would flow through him, taking advantage of his emotions. But as it stands, I never got, this was supposed to be the transformation from Anakin to Darth Vader, and there wasn't really any story with it. It was just, he's evil now. That's all it was, There's a few talks here and there, and talking is a lot in these prequels. There's a few talks here and there about how, he's trying to convince him he could save Padme, because he's having these dreams about Padme dying, which could have been influenced, I believe that Darth Plagueis was Palpatine's master. And that it was Master Sifo-Dyas, the Jedi who ordered the Clone Army to begin with. That's what I think. And you get this... I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Yeah, so... the Jedi confront Palpatine. They know he's the Sith Lord. And then, Anakin, I need him! And so Anakin cuts off his hand, and then, and then flashes him with the lightning. And now his face is distorted. Oh, that's how his face gets all fucked up. Is the lightning and the lightsaber. Okay. And then just like that, I will call you Darth Vader. It's just that's it. Just one little scene, and all of a sudden he's evil. My master. Really? That's it. You just double-crossed everyone, and it holds no weight, because there's no one else there to witness it. And even when Obi-Wan and Yoda, they see the security footage of him taking out the younglings, it still doesn't hold any weight, because they're not there when it's happening. Anakin's not there. It doesn't do anything, because they can't confront it right away. Obi-Wan has to take a freaking spaceship all the way to the Mustafar system. And the ending to this, even though it's an hour, maybe 45 minutes, it still feels very rushed. Boom, Anakin's evil. Then, I have a mission for you. Kills the younglings. Then goes the Mustafar system. Kills the Trade Federation, because they're not in the sequels. They're not in the originals. And then, Order 66. Okay. I hate the whole prequel thing of, oh, they're not in the original movies, so we gotta kill everyone who's not in the original movies. Even though you could just, make sequels to those original movies and bring those characters back. But no. We just gotta kill everyone off. Right? And trust me, we'll get to that with the one-offs. But, yeah, so all the Jedi die. I remember talking to a friend of mine, my friend, he went to see, the same friend I went to see the Clone Wars movie with. But he went to see Star Wars Episode 3 without me because he couldn't wait for me. And then I was ready to go see it. And he's like, no, I already seen it. I'm not going to see it again. I'm like, wait, I'm not spending money to go see it again. You can go by yourself. I'm like, we plan to go together. And he couldn't wait for me to get my paycheck money. And then when I did, he decided he's not going with me. But that's beside the point. I forgot the point. Oh yeah, he's like, because I was confused that I was wondering what happened to Mace Windu. And he comes out and he says, I know Mace Windu dies. I'm like, what? He dies? He's like, oh, oops. I'm like, he's like, you want to know? I'm like, I don't know. I'll call him back. Big O2 Radio's calling me. I'll call him back. Decline. But yeah, he goes out like a bitch. He gets his hand chopped off and he flies out the window. That's it. Goes out the window. It's, and the only ones you knew were survive, Yoda, Obi-Wan, they're the only Jedi to survive, and you got Chewbacca showing up for the cameo, glorified cameo really, in Episode 3. And then you get the confrontation that really is just, the battle on Mustafar is good. How it starts with Padme showing up, bitch, you're pregnant. What's wrong with you? You're on a planet full of lava, and your ass is pregnant. And you're going to a planet full of lava, made of lava. The fuck is wrong with you? I don't know. But, and then Anakin is choking her out. Bitch, man, she's pregnant with your child. What are you doing? His anger is controlling him. And that's, oh, okay. That's something good. Like his anger is controlling him when he can't stop. And Obi-Wan has to tell him. But then again, she's trying to talk to him. He sees Obi-Wan and it's just like, oh, you had it. I mean, his transformation into Darth Vader was not justified at all. This was supposed to be a saga of turning Anakin Skywalker into Darth Vader. The transition from good to evil. And because they did nothing with the first two films, because they had him show up as a child in the first film. And then the second film did absolutely nothing with the character other than, I do not like sand, and I love you. There was not, other than that one little part where he kills the Sandman. And even that was Mama's boy. Because he killed him because his mommy died. And then to go into part 3 and have maybe a couple small little scenes that may be coercing him to join the dark side, but there's not really much coercing done. And then one scene where Mace Windu dies, and all of a sudden, he's evil. It makes no sense. And now this, Obi-Wan and Anakin are fighting, and Anakin gets burnt to a crisp. Okay. I didn't even think about that, to be honest. When that lava hit him, I'm like, oh, wait, you can't kill him, he's Darth Vader. And he's still alive, but I'm like, all right. Because I never connected, really, that like, because like when they said it in Return of the Jedi, when he says, if I take the helmet off, you die. I'm like, he's going to die if you leave it on. I mean, he's got to, he's already dying. So what, helmet off or helmet on, what's the difference? Not realizing that suit, because they show him with his helmet off before, in Empire or whatever, when he's from behind, and then they put the thing on and he turns around. So I didn't think it was anything special, that suit, other than concealing his identity. Because that's what I thought. Because the whole twist thing with I am your father, I thought that's what it was, continuing his identity. I never put it until that particular, yes, I'm serious, until that particular moment in episode 3. I never put 2 and 2 together that he actually needed that suit to survive. Like, okay, I thought it was just to conceal his identity. Okay, and then they show, like, and like I said, it's like very quick. Like it cuts to him to Palpatine saving Anakin, turning him into Darth Vader. And then you cut to the babies being born. And it's a boy, Luke. It's a girl, Leia. Peace out, I'm dead. And then, basically that's what it is. Like the babies are born and Padme, peace out, beep. And then like Senator Organa's like, oh, my wife and I want a daughter, I'll take the daughter. What about the boy? I will take him to his family, and I will watch over him. Now, going back to what I said about episode 2, if the Emperor did in fact orchestrate, Shmi Skywalker's abduction, wouldn't he know? Like, that's just my thought. And it's my theory that he was behind it, but wouldn't he know about his family? Especially, Anakin would know. Like, Darth Vader would know he has family on Tatooine. And wouldn't that be the first place he'd go to look for his kid? Is with the kid's family? Now, if Anakin didn't know about it, if Obi-Wan was the one to go after Anakin's mother, and Obi-Wan, how did Obi-Wan find out? You could assume that he was told off-screen or something. But Anakin knows about his family on Tatooine. So wouldn't that be the first place he would go to look for his child? Now you could say, oh, he assumed that Padme and the child both died, but he's not very surprised when he finds out about the son of Skywalker. He's not surprised that he's alive. He's surprised that there's twins. You have a sister. That's the surprise. But he's not surprised in the slightest that the son of Skywalker is still alive. That's the thing. So he knows that this child's out there somewhere, and why wouldn't that be the first place? The Lars Moisture Farm. Why wouldn't that be the first place he checks for? It makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. But we gotta connect everything, right? And Yoda goes into hiding, and Obi-Wan's watching over him, and then the prequels are a mixed bag. And overall, I do think that, I don't know. I think the outright best is probably Revenge of the Sith, but the most enjoyable is Phantom Menace, and the boring is probably Attack of the Clones. But overall, the prequels are a mixed bag, and I know people have compared since the sequel trilogy has come out. Oh, the prequels are better. Go fuck yourself. They're not better. They're not better at all. The sequel trilogy, as disjointed as they are, the prequels try to tell the difference between the prequels and the sequels. Is the prequels try to tell one continuous story, just like the original trilogy. They try to tell one continuous story, the story of Anakin Skywalker. Like, Anakin Skywalker is the story of the first of the prequel trilogy. Luke Skywalker, story of the original trilogy. And Rey is very much the story, or is supposed to be the story. Or maybe even Leia, if you think about it. Is the story as well, because she goes through a lot. And the fact they didn't cut her out of the final one, even though the actress died. I'm just saying that they tell a continuous story, even though the prequels are disjointed because they didn't have the same people working on them, and I'll get to that when I talk about the prequels, or the sequels. But the prequel trilogy, a mixed bag as it is still one man's vision. As boring as some of that vision was, and as annoying as some of the vision was, I see what George Lucas was trying to do. I can't explain it, but I see what he was trying to do. He was trying to tell a story of Anakin's turn to the dark side, and if you didn't have him start out as a kid, or if you had the kid thing, and you just didn't have all the boring talky stuff in the second one, maybe you could have done a better job. And if you had cast someone other than Hayden Christensen, I'm sorry, some people might like him, but he just came off as whiny to me. But I'm not giving any ratings or anything, but yeah, that's just my thoughts on the prequel trilogy. So guys, what are your thoughts on the Star Wars prequel trilogy? This is only video 1 of 5 videos I'm going to have to do today. Because think about this, I'm doing the prequel trilogy. The 2 one-offs, which will probably be shorter. The originals. The sequels. And The Mandalorian, if I can get it finished before midnight. So, come with me on this journey, okay? I am Mid Scotty. Like, share, and subscribe, and may the Force be with you.